I don't know why that did that. OBS stopped streaming for some reason. That's weird. It's never done that before. Are we back? No, I think that was... I don't think that was YouTube. I think that was actually my... I think that was the stinking OBS for some reason. But yeah, hopefully it's back there. Hopefully it comes back. Alright, so anyway... I don't know exactly when that dropped out, but... Let me close some of these windows. Maybe that'll help. I don't know what happened. I wasn't done. But anyway, we resliced this with an auto extrusion width. So we'll see if that makes a difference. And I assume we're going to have to retweak the live Z again. So we'll do that here. We'll do that again here. Oh, yeah. Something don't seem right. That looks good. I think. Yeah, maybe I was like an idiot for having set that manually before. Gojira? Where's Gojira? What did you miss? You missed absolutely nothing, Joey. I don't know, maybe I had... I think maybe... Talk about why you like Gojira. I like them because they're freaking awesome, man. They're like the best. Yeah, Joey... resetting the printer fixed the speed issue. It actually wasn't anything that we changed. For some reason, just like resetting it made it print normal. Something kind of looks funny though. We'll let this go for a little bit and see what happens, but something kind of looks funny. Not like ha-ha funny. Is the value the same? I believe so. Yeah, like I said, we didn't change any of the values. All I did was like unhook the USB and reset the printer, and it seemed to be fine then. Even with the same like G code. But this kind of looks a little odd. Like I said, we'll let it go for a minute because it's not a very long print. But it looks kind of odd for some reason. We didn't undo the new E-steps. I don't think so. Yeah, it missed a corner for some reason. And it missed a line in the middle there too. But I think some of those what other bands? Like what am I listening to currently? I don't listen to that much. I was listening to 69 Eyes earlier this morning. And what else? I listen to him. My wife listens to him a lot. Because they've really grown on me over the years. I listen to them. I've been listening to Bellacore. They're Australian, I think. But let's let it do some of this infill and see what it does, and then we'll take a look at it. But I haven't really like branched out. Oh, a band I've been listening to lately that I absolutely like adore is Ginger, Jinger. Their female vocalist is freaking great. Oh, you actually listen to Bellacore? Yeah, I love those guys. I don't have any other friends that listen to that kind of stuff, but Graham, you watched my IGUS bearing installation the other day. You mean the one from, like, November? I actually, if you can believe it or not, I actually recently put the original linear bearings back on. Let me move the camera, since we're chatting. I actually put the original linear bearings back on that came with the kit. And they're actually not that bad now for some reason. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just that they're like well lubricated finally, because I was a noob before and didn't lubricate them very well. It makes more noise than the IGUS bushings do, but one thing I like is that there's so little wiggle in the bed now. But yeah, I didn't change them back for like any other reason than to test the original bearings again. So I'm gonna let this do like a layer or two over that infill, and we'll take a look at it. Or I guess I might as well let it finish. It's like what percent done? It's over half done. But like right now, the fans are like most of the kind of ambient noise that it makes. The printer still makes a moderate amount of noise depending on what it's printing exactly. The y-axis is probably 80% of the overall movement noise, because it all kind of like resonates through the bed. Which I think next week, next Tuesday. Frederick, yes, I did use the 3D printed bearing holders instead of zip ties, and I had those on with the IGUS bushings as well. Joe, did I change back on stream? Yeah, I put the original bearings back on stream. But no, the IGUS are not on here. It's still the original linear bearings, because I still need to do... I got a decibel meter, and I want to do some testing. Riame, I mean, I don't want to get into like a whole IGUS debate, but I talked to IGUS reps, and that is true of some of their products, but it is not true for the bushings that I was using. They do not need compression fit. The only reason they need to be in holders is so that they do not move along the axis that they're on. Like, they need to be held, like if they're on a rod, they need to be held so that they don't move on the rod itself. But to reach the correct internal diameter, the bushings that we were using do not need to have a compression fit. And I confirmed this by talking to representatives from, like, directly from IGUS. Yeah, that could be the case, Sparky. I mean, I probably had... I've speculated about this before. Like, I probably had 100 hours on the machine when I switched to the IGUS, and then I probably put... I don't remember exact numbers, but I probably put 700-ish hours on with the IGUS bushings. And the time you notice it's when you're cleaning the bed, when you're actually, like, rubbing the bed surface with, like, alcohol. I just noticed that over time there was more and more and more wiggle in the bed, and it started to worry me. I just started to notice it, like, in all axes, side to side, up and down. Yeah, I just started to notice, like, more and more wiggle in the bed. And that's what, like, kind of prompted me to want to install the original bearings back in and kind of see, like, how they compared to what I was currently experiencing with the IGUS bushings. And also, if you go back and watch the stream, I compared the bushings that had been on the printer for several hundred hours with, like, brand new bushings of the same type, and they had definitely worn a little bit. And I think part of it's that the rods that come with the MK2 aren't really, like, the smoothest. They're not as smooth as some of the, like, hardened polish rods you can get. Well, Joseph, I think, like, part of it is that IGUS has a ton of different products, and I think they do have some products, because people have actually linked me to different pages on their site that say about compression fittings, but I think some people misunderstand, because I think some of the products do say that they need to be in a compression fitting, but it's, like I said, it's not actually to reach the correct inner diameter, it's to... it's to keep them from moving on the axis. Marcellus, the tie wraps could also be stretching, but the thing is I had printed... I can't really show you now. You might be able to see under here. I'm still using them. I printed bearing holders out of PLA that actually eliminate... I think I probably can get under there a little bit. Maybe not. It's too dark. But yeah, there's actually bearing holders under there. I don't really have a light. You won't be able to see any detail on them, but you should be able to see, just with the orange, that's... Let's get in there. Let's get an angle here. There you can see them. But yeah, I actually have bearing holders under there that are printed in PLA that actually really, really tightly grip the bearings, and they're on both sides. I know it's a little tougher to see, but you can see in there that I don't have the zip ties anymore on the Y-axis. Those were oh god, that's bright. Oh, eBay auction ending. Oh, that was like 2 hours ago. Oh, I like blinded myself with that. Now I'm like seeing tracers. But no, there's a like I got out of touch. I was supposed to have, if you guys, some of you guys that have been with me for a long time, you remember I was supposed to have a rep actually meet up with me and make kind of a definitive video on some of this stuff, and they kind of never contacted me again. I guess I should start bugging them, because I get questions and inquiries about the IGUS bushings on a regular basis. Oh, I'll see you, Sparky. Are you actually leaving this time? I know you said that earlier. You get sucked back in. But yeah, I don't know what the deal is here. Like, this print kind of looks good, and then the corners look like shit. You can see it kind of, I don't know what you'd call that, but like on the corners there. Is it going to focus? Yeah, like, check that out. What's the deal there? And there's a little bit of a, I know it's even harder to see than the corners, but there's a little bit of focus. There's a little bit of like under extrusion here along this edge where you see it looks like the innermost perimeter didn't really print exactly right. But it's just a shame, because that top layer looks really nice. I don't know what the problem is. But you can see that actual top layer looks pretty good. I don't know. I don't know what the deal is. I don't know if it's this filament, because this filament has been acting a little bit weird. Helbin said that's overshoot on the corners. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't think it was something stupid like my filament tensioner wasn't tight enough. I mean, that could be it. But I tend to run that on like the snug side. But I was getting that, if I showed you guys earlier, I was kind of getting that on these pieces. Like, this was one of the initial tests I had done here, and this is like the first layer, and it was giving me like weird problems like that. But then the rest of it seemed to print like pretty good. I don't know if it's the filament. So, do you think, so Gustner, you think adding a little bit of additional multiplier would help? Is that what you're saying? Let me look here, because we'll have to wrap it up here shortly. I have some stuff I have to ship for eBay. But no, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this. Because I think overall this piece looks good. I think my top layer there does look a little better. I can't reach. I have greasy fingers from grabbing crackers upstairs. Because we still, I know it's a little tough to see, but we still have a little bit of the, we still have a little bit of, like, a tiny little bit of the elephant foot. It's like a more normal amount, where it's just like a tiny little burr. I mean, it's not tiny, but it's not like the kind of extreme. I mean, it's almost transparent, because it's just like the first layer a little bit. But like our walls and perimeters look fantastic for the most part. I mean, the layer lines there are pretty damn good. If it'll focus on them. You know, that edge is pretty good. Our top layer is pretty good. I think for the layer height we used, you can see the infill a little tiny bit. We could have used a couple more top layers. But the bottom layer, it's like the same thing. It looks like it didn't extrude in that corner at all. And then, like, you can see I was adjusting the Z height. But, like, on this perimeter here, it looks like the inner perimeter didn't extrude. It looks like that corner didn't extrude. And then it, like, missed, like, a line and a half there almost. Like, where it just didn't extrude anything. It's kind of odd. Oh, I know, the elephant foot's easy to fix, but it's usually not this bad in the first place. I mean, hell, just with your, like, fingernail, you can usually just work it off. But, I mean, right there in that spot that I messed with for a minute, it's gone already. Because it usually just, like, breaks off if you fold it back and forth. Since PLA is kind of brittle. But, yeah, it's usually not that bad in the first place. But, I mean, this print doesn't look bad, but the under extrusion, or the lack of extrusion, I guess would be a better way of saying it. The lack of extrusion on those corners is kind of unacceptable. That's some bullshit right there. And I don't know what would cause, like, an intermittent error like that. Camera, quit trying to focus on everything. Yeah, we can check our Hobbed gear. Because I said it kind of looks like it's getting, kind of looks like it's getting worn. I don't know if I'm maybe due to just, like, buy a new one. It probably wouldn't hurt. Let's preheat this. Because we did have those moments earlier where we got, like, a little bit of grinding. So maybe it is possible we chewed off a little bit of PLA and it clogged the teeth a little bit. And maybe when it's, like, getting to that spot, it's, like, occasionally slipping a little. So we're going to preheat this. I'll also check the tension on the grub screw, because I haven't done that in a long time. But yeah, we'll get to the bottom of this. It's slightly better lighting here. Right here. Focus right there. You bastard. Alright, so our filament's out. And we'll just move the stepper here. I mean, overall, it doesn't look bad. I'm going to take our little kind of cheap wire brush here. Because I don't think there's an easy way to take that off, is there? I think we need to actually pop the motor off, if I'm correct. Because it doesn't look like there's enough space there to move it. But we'll check our tension. I don't remember which of these wrenches it is, but we'll check the, double check the grub screw. I don't think it's that. No, the grub is still plenty tight. I'm going to... But yeah, and I'm going to put a piece of paper. Try to, anyway. I'm going to try to put a piece of paper over that hole so that if we do break anything loose, it doesn't go down in our PTFE tube. There we go. Stop moving. All right, we can let the paper move. I think we got most of the crap out of there. But we'll do a couple more rotations here, just kind of like... I mean, I hope it's something trivial like this, but I wouldn't be surprised if this wasn't really what was happening. Got like another half rotation. I don't know, I mean, that looks cleaner, I think. Maybe it was that. I don't think I've ever cleaned that before. Maybe there was just like crap built up in those little ridges. And while we're at it, let's try a different filament too. Let's try this sweet ass green color. Alright, I just pushed that down in till it's actually got to the nozzle, so we don't have the problem we had before. And we'll pop our bolts back in. Well, the only thing I worry about a Q-tip is like Q-tips get crap everywhere because the little fibers kind of pull off. So let's move our Z-axis up. We'll extrude a bit of this green. All right, that looks like it's clear. It looks like I turned the knob more than I thought. Did anyone else also notice that the steppers are not engaged while you're not printing anymore? I don't know if anybody noticed that, but you can now freely move the bed under the new firmware, and I'm pretty sure you couldn't do that before. I'm pretty sure with the old firmware, the steppers weren't doing anything, but they were kind of locked. Like they had current going to them. And I know before you could like manually disengage the steppers, but it seems like now they're kind of disengaged by default while it's not printing. All right, so let's wipe this off again. Clear our purge strip, and we'll just run that same print again and see how it treats us. Yeah, Johnny, they call it. I think that's called an atomic pull. That is a good thing to do periodically. But hopefully, I don't know, hopefully that was part of it. Hey, what's up, Francis? All you guys in chat, Helbin, Aaron, Rob, Johnny. Yeah, there's a couple guys in here that I think it's been a little while since I've seen you in stream. Thanks for stopping by. And hi to you guys in Twitch, too. Like I said, streaming on Twitch at the same time as YouTube is kind of new. So I keep forgetting that I'm doing like both platforms at the same time. So I do apologize. I'm not trying to not pay attention to you guys. But yeah, you're free to engage. It's just like the guys on YouTube. Like there's two different universes kind of touching tips here. So like on each perspective platform, like you won't see each other, but if you actually watch the chat on the stream itself, you should be able to see the chat together. It should be integrated. Should be. Should be. All right, let me check the first layer here. Because I know this green printed really nice. Oh, what the F? What the F is going on here? Because I know at first, it's pretty obvious at first that first layer wasn't quite right. My Z height was too high. Is it the same G code? This is the G code we re-sliced. I don't think the filament's slipping. I just think my my Z height wasn't right. Yeah, my Z, you can see there initially my Z height was a little too high. It does look ugly, Gusner. That corner, the rest of it looks alright. Ish. I did miss the corner. Maybe it's the G code. I don't know. That's kind of weird. And I don't think there's anything... There's nothing out of the ordinary in the profile I used as far as slicing. Our nozzle diameter is 0.35. We used auto extrusion width. Oh, I see what it is. I see what it is. I see what it is. Let's reslice that. This reverted. I had extra restart distance. I was trying to solve like the blob problem before with the yep, I totally see what that is. And we'll go ahead and slice this at 0.2 millimeters, which will make this first layer a little less problematic. Yeah, holy shit. Infill, okay. Yeah, holy shit. Okay, so let's... I'll get this on this other SD card. Let's try that again. Yeah, I forgot that sometimes if you don't actually update the profiles, even though you've made changes, sometimes if you have if you remove the last model that was in there, it will revert because it's doing the same thing, and it makes sense because this is kind of the same deal, exactly the same deal as the purple one, where overall this is a nice print. Even the bottom layers I think were pretty good. Like I said, the Z height was off on these, but what that is extra restart distance. I think is it'll travel that distance before it actually starts like re-extruding. Because like I said, I was trying to like deal with the issue of the excessive back pressure with the smaller nozzles. And that was one of the things I tried. Like, it helped, but it didn't really fix the problem, and it had caused some other problems. So I kind of, like, abandoned, like, pursuing that. Yeah, the flash air is sweet. I do agree, Aaron. I need to do the that video, because I've had people message me about kind of like condensing that. Because a lot, as soon as I did a video on it and started like talking about it a lot, I got messages from a lot of people that had a really hard time getting it to work. And at least 3 or 4 people messaged me that had actually just returned it because they couldn't actually get it to work out right. All right, so hopefully this will work. This should be fine this time, I think. And it looks like our Z height isn't perfect, I don't think. It's kind of hard for me to see it at the angles that I'm at. But it's definitely tolerable. But let's get back over here. This looks better already. It makes sense too. I think when it was doing the initial extrusion on that perimeter, that extra start distance was applying then as well. So I think that was causing problems. But you see there, we have, this looks significantly better already. Let's just give up on the autofocus, I think. I think I fare better when I just kind of manually do it. Because times like this, when it's like the spot that you want to focus on is coming in and out of frame. And I change it to concentric too, because the concentric just looks sexy. But you can see that looks significantly better. And we don't have any like stupid under extrusion or anything. But no, I think, again, it's going to take some testing. I'll have to do some longer prints. Particularly prints where I had like areas that were kind of an issue. But it seems like adjusting our steps did... I don't know. I think it did kind of make a positive improvement. But no, this looks nice. Actually, that's why I was kind of I was starting to like suspect that maybe it was this purple filament because I've been having issues with it, but like you guys have heard me gush about the AIO PLA before, and like I've had nothing but fantastic results with it. Especially this green. This green print's really nice. This purple print's really nice. Plus they're cool colors together. I know that's small there, but together they definitely kind of have like... it makes me think, does anybody remember the gotcha stuff from like the 80s? It was like the obnoxiously bright kind of faux surfer gear kind of bullshit that like middle school kids had. It reminds me of that. All I need is like some of the orange in the mix. Does it change on the second layer to a different infill type? No, I think it does concentric on how many ever tops and bottoms you have, so clear up to the infill, it'll do this, like, concentric style. Gustner, you can change it if you want. It takes a little bit of effort, but if you... I mean, theoretically, you could have a different printing process for... I would assume literally every layer in your print if you'd want to take the time to configure it. So you could do I mean, that would make it significantly stronger as long as your interlayer bond was good. But in theory, you could do like concentric, what is it, interlinear, and then switch it all around. Oh, that's strong. That's what I mean. You could actually sandwich every layer could be different, really, if you'd want to figure out what your layer heights are and actually set it up to do that. it would take some time. But yeah, if you were really, really worried about strength. But I think with anything, there was a guy that actually did a really nice video. I wish I could remember his name offhand. But I think the issue pretty quickly becomes like your interlayer bond. But no, this print looks good now. That's why, like, I don't know, some of you guys might not be used to like the MK2. Because I think somebody said this earlier print looked alright. And it's like, no, this looks like shit. Compared to what this machine should be doing. Did you try the new Slicer Verislice function? Oh, no, I didn't. I haven't fired up Slicer, I think, since... I don't know, it's been a while. But now I'll have to check it out. It has been a little while. Because I know they've been slowly releasing updates for it, so I guess I should go back and check it out. But no, this print looks really nice. We do have a tiny little bit of flaring on that first layer again, but it doesn't look terrible. I guess we'll have a look at it here eventually. We'll take a peek. You got your Pi Zero W today. That's sweet, man. I have a friend that just bought... what am I trying to say? A Pi 3 to build a retro Pi. He just got his the other day and was talking about it. Because I think he wants me to help him set it up. I need to get off my ass. I've been, like, strapped financially lately. For a number of reasons. But I need to get one. Because I would like to try Octoprint. Give it a go. I know I've talked to a couple people lately that finally took the plunge and did it. And are really happy with it. Oh, Gusner, is it just kind of like an automated version of that? Because I thought at first you could only do that in Simplify, but it turns out you can do it in Slicer, but the interface to do it was kind of shitty. You printed off a mini NES case. I actually have the bottom of the shell printed. That's why I got from the $5 filament. That's actually the mini NES case was the reason I bought this light and dark gray, because they're actually like really good matches to the. I mean, they're not exact, obviously, but they're really close matches to the actual like NES shells. I also printed one of the coolest things are the mini cartridges. The mini cartridges are pretty sweet. But I kind of forgot about them. I was printing those at the time. That was the day, actually. Oh, this infill is kind of... this infill is struggling a bit. The mini NES cartridges, I was printing those the day I finally got pissed off enough with the PEI sheet losing its kind of adhesion. Because even those little NES cartridges that were making complete contact with the bed, the corners were curling. And I think that was the day I finally, like, sanded and acetoned my PEI sheet. Oh, Rob said it's not, the Verislice is not automated. Yeah, because I guess it essentially had that functionality before, but the GUI for it was, like, not good. I mean, to put it nicely. Plus, it was kind of, like, nested in a menu in a weird place, and that's why initially I thought it didn't even have that functionality. Because it was kind of, like, hidden away. in a place that wasn't incredibly obvious. But at least I'll have a bunch of these little things. I guess we didn't let most of them finish, though. Which is kind of funny. But no, it's kind of funny that I was having some issues with the PLA, but then the I also got some Bronzeville to try. I'll have to try that soon. But this polishable stainless and the magnetic iron, I didn't have any problems with. This stuff printed like effortlessly. Right now the lower corner is not perfect. I don't know. I guess I'm kind of at a weird angle. I'm trying to look at it on the picture. It looks all right. I think it's about done. What percentage is it? Oh, it's 95. This must be the last layer. It looks like I reduced it from 25% to 10% infill. And this is one of those parts that, since it's big flat surfaces, it's kind of beneficial to put it to a higher infill just so the grid spacing isn't as high. But I'll check it in a minute, Gustner. Yeah, this is the last layer, so we'll pop it off and take a look at it. But that's what kind of worried me about extrusion width before. We seem to have a little bit of a lump there, which I think is just from the, like I said, the length of the bridges on the infill are a little long. Looks like I could raise my Z height a little bit. But that's the bottom. That's the bottom against the build plate, and that layer is basically perfect. It looks like we could raise it a little bit so we don't get so much of the elephant toe or elephant foot effect. But yeah, we do have a little bit of like a buckle on the top, and I think that's just from like the infill kind of like getting wavy because it was bridging those big gaps with kind of a narrow diameter. But no, overall, the concentric infill looks cool, I think, personally. But no, overall, I mean, that's an okay print. I can sand that a little bit. But yeah, the 10% infill was a mistake. 25 to 30 seemed to work out good because then the spaces between the grid is pretty small. Because I think even if we'd put more layers on this, I think that's a big enough of a waffle there that it would probably transmit up through. How are the corners? They're not super sharp. I mean, they're not bad. It's kind of hard to show them. They're not bad by any means. This doesn't want to focus. They're not bad. But they're not super sharp, which I think is kind of like... Focus, you bastard. Oh, I took autofocus off. That's right. Look at me. What a stupid asshole. I took autofocus off. And here I'm like waiting for it to autofocus. I'm sorry, camera. I don't mean to be mean. All right, let's get her up there close. Yeah, they're all right. They're a little rounded. I think if we would manually put the extrusion width in and make it a little narrower, the corners would probably be a little bit sharper. But, yeah. They have a little bit of that roundness to them. Compare it to the old prints. Well, the old prints... the corners... like, as far as the layer heights, the layers aren't any better or worse. They're exactly the same as far as I can tell. The corners are a little less round on the original ones, the purple one there. They're a little bit sharper. But then, obviously, like, the top layers and stuff are better on the new print than the old one. I think, like, using the old extrusion width, I think it was over extruding a little tiny bit, which kind of makes the layers look nicer because it's smushing the extrusion lines together a little bit more. Because I think the settings would be ideal somewhere between these two, just making sure to remove the that extra restart distance. But yeah. Am I happy with the extruder calibration? I don't know. I'd have been happier if it didn't take 3 hours. Or 4, whatever the hell time we're at now. But no, I mean, it's like anything. It's all like a journey. It's all a journey. But yeah, as long as... That's why I said, like, I kind of wanted to quit earlier. Because it's getting a little frustrating because we were just, like, treading water, but... How do top layers come out when your overall width is not exactly a multiple of the extrusion width? Well, I don't think it's necessarily, like, being a multiple. Klaus, why did it take 4 hours? I don't know. You should re-watch the stream and try to answer that question for all of us. I don't know why everything we do takes so long. But honestly, I don't know as much as I would like to about extrusion width. Like I said, I think this purple piece was using the same extrusion width as the nozzle, which I can see is causing a problem. Like, imagine you're squirting something out that's an inch, like through an inch hole, and you want to press it against something, but still have it the width of the hole. Like, that's gonna be difficult to do because it's gonna want to pancake out a little bit. So our nozzle's at 0.35 millimeters, and I think when we set it to auto on this one, it automatically adjusts it to 0.42. So maybe something in between there is what would be ideal. Because that's a difference of 7.07 millimeters. So maybe like 0.38 or something would be like a compromise, 0.37, 0.38. But I'll have to do some tests. It's nice to have little pieces like these. Like, I think that print only takes about 11 minutes. But no, once I get these sorted out, they like I explained what these were before. They're little measuring tools where it's like it's an inch long on this side, half inch, and then 2 inches on the long side. It's just like a little measuring tool for tabletop games. But I think if I can get these printing really nice and knock a bunch of them out in various colors for people to use for different factions and stuff in the game, I'll give a bunch of these out to the guys at my little local gaming shop. Because I have slowly been getting people who want me to make stuff for them, which is kind of cool. But doing little like niche stuff like this, it is an easy way to get your name out there. Like, I still get people that ask me all the freaking time about those little magnetized tokens I made because they work so great for what they're made for. But even these, like, basically I need like sets. There's like the big one for 1 inch, 2 inch, and 3 inch measurements, and then the small one for half, 1, and 2. And it would kind of be cool to embed a pair of magnets in these so that while you're not using them, you can just like stick them together, and they would kind of, it'd make it a little harder to lose them. And if you'd orient the magnets the right way, they would stick on either side, which would be kind of cool because the magnets would be centered. But yeah, thanks for the help, Gusner. Sorry if I was frustrating anyone earlier. It was definitely like a too many chefs in the kitchen kind of situation. But I always like to take advice from some of you guys because I know at least some of you are more experienced than I am at this point. So hopefully working toward changing that. That's why I know, like, I dwell on some things a little while sometimes, but I always want to make sure that if we're going to be spending time on it, that I actually come away, like, understanding it better than when we started. So if it ever comes up again, it won't be, like, an issue. But, yeah, have a good day, Gusner. Again, thanks for the help. At least we, like usual, it took a little while, but at least I think we got somewhere. We did accomplish a few things. We calibrated our E-steps. I cleaned my Hobbed gear, which was probably a good thing. It unfortunately, like I kind of suspected, it really wasn't the cause of this, but it was a nice thing to do. I think it was beneficial. And just to recap, what this was, when we had the problem here with these corners not extruding, that was, and I can open up Simplify here and actually show you. What that was, if I didn't make it clear before, was in here in the process settings, I was, what is that called? I can't see it over there. Ooze control. I was trying to, like, reduce the internal pressure in the nozzle of the smaller diameter nozzles I've been using. And extra restart distance is like a setting you can change that, as far as I understand, like, say your extruder, like, gets to the end of a line and then moves somewhere else, to kind of compensate for back pressure, it will, like, move this distance before it re-engages the extruder motor. So basically it's going to, like, be extruding with that back pressure before it actually starts, like, pushing more filament out. Which, it's not quite coasting. As far as I understand, Klaus, it's not, because there's a separate setting here for coasting. It's similar to coasting, but it's not quite the same thing. Like I said, I don't understand it fully. I didn't read as much about it as I probably should have. But messing with it, it did seem to help, like, the back pressure issue, but it also, like, caused some other problems that I couldn't find solutions to, so I ended up abandoning it. But I hadn't updated the profile that we used when I resliced this, and there was still, like, a negative value there. And that was what was actually causing these corners and stuff not to extrude properly. And some of these lines, because the way that does that infill is it does this section and then it stops and does up here and then comes back. And both those places where it, like, stopped and started again, it wasn't like actually filling in the corner. So if anybody gets themselves in that situation, that's what was actually causing that. Now for XY calibration, that'll be for another day, Atog. I think we've done enough for today. Like I said, I've got a few things I have to ship for eBay, and one of them is going to probably take me a half hour or so to package up. But yeah, I think that's all we're going to do for today. I've had my fill, and I didn't drink nearly enough rum. I should finish this off before I have to ride to the post office. Because I have plenty of time. It's only 2. I don't have to go there till 4:30. Oh, man. That is rich. But yeah. Yeah, Klaus, I think you're right. But no, cool day. I don't know if I'd say it's a cool day, but we did accomplish something. But yeah, thanks for bearing with me, everybody. Looks like I have quite the collection of old consoles. Yeah, they're not actually, like, my personal collection. Before I kind of started doing YouTube for 3D printing and stuff, I made videos on my personal situation before. I won't really talk about it here, but I have schizophrenia. I've had trouble, like, having a job and stuff. And one of the things I've done for money over the years was buying, refurbishing, modding, and reselling, like, consoles and gaming cartridges from older systems. And I have so much, I should work on some of them. Because, like, some of the Genesis consoles have, like, AV mods started on them that I need to finish so I can sell them and stuff. Same with the Ataris, because they only put out RF video, which is horrible. And they're relatively easy to AV mod, so they put out composite. And that's what all those are. They're kind of like in the works. We can do that, Joey. So what was that? An M503, I think you said? Though we do have to... do have to plug our USB in. Why would you AV mod a Genesis? Because it looks better. The Genesis you don't mod to do composite, Klaus. The Genesis you can actually... The earlier versions, there's older versions of the chips that you can't do it to. But the Genesis you can mod to put out S-Video, which... I used to have a TV setting there I could show you, but... the difference between composite and S-Video on the Sega is shocking. It is shocking how much better it looks with an S-Video output. You can do them for RGB, but they usually... the N64 is the same way. The NES is the same way. You can RGB mod them, but you generally need to put in like a little co-processing board that the signal gets processed through. And it's a little more involved. Especially with the N64. The N64 is a little involved. You need to have... I've done one before, but you need to have slightly better soldering skills than I have, because you need to use the little like ribbon cables that have like a million little connectors on them and be able to solder them, which is a little tough. But yeah, the S-Video is sweet. The only problem you have is that it's kind of hard to find TVs that have S-Video inputs anymore. But the Sega usually do like the whole group. There's the overclock mod where you actually like jump in a secondary crystal for the processing clock, and you take it from like, I forget what it is. I think the base clock's like 4,000, something like that. And you take it to like 10K. Something like that, because Sega has like slowdown. Almost everybody here has probably played Sega on the Genesis. And like one of the stereotypical examples of slowdown on that system is when you have a bunch of rings and you get hit and they all come out. It brings the system to like a crawl generally until like some of those get off the screen. But yeah, you do the overclock, you do the S-Video mod, the stereo mod, because the actual like audio output on the back isn't stereo, even though the system has stereo out the headphone output on the front for some reason. They didn't feel the need to take it's Mega Drive. They didn't feel the need to just like pipe that stereo sound that the console was already putting out back to some RCA ports, which was kind of stupid. And then 2 miles per hour versus 100. No, the clock speed's on the Sega. And what else? And the region mod. The region mod's, again, fairly easy to do because it's just like internal jumpers, and you can just like use a multi-pole switch to be able to switch between them. But yeah, there's like 5 mods on the Sega you do when you do them generally. But the NES is a little simpler. With those, you're usually doing... used to be RGB mods, but now you can buy boards to do HDMI mods for those, but I haven't done one since the new boards came out. But they're not too bad. If you've ever seen inside an NES, they have like the 72-pin CPU and PPU, which is the computer processing unit and the picture processing unit. And you just need to desolder them. That's why I have a solder gun or desoldering gun back here, was specifically to do those. And you take those like 72-pin chips out and basically put a board in between them that sandwiches in and jumps into all the pinouts and pulls all that out to the co-processing board for the HDMI signal and stuff. They are kind of expensive. Usually, I think the kits for the boards themselves are only around $125, but you usually spend that much or more getting someone to install them. Because again, you can do it yourself, but if you don't have a desoldering gun, taking like the PPU out is a pain in the ass. because it has so many pins. And if you're trying to use like desoldering wick and stuff, it's painful. But anyway, yeah, that's what's going on with mounting of consoles. And that's actually not all I have. I have some more over on the other side of the basement too. But like I said, I've been really slacking. Anymore when I have free time, I usually do stuff for the YouTube channel. So yeah. But anyway, so we'll pull this up and we'll just like double check. So we have Prawn Face here, and we have our port selected, and we'll connect. And the printer does kind of like a soft reset. And what was that command? It was an M503. Which, again, I have to pull this over to my screen so I can see it. And the M503 gives us like some info. And yes, our steps per unit, like our M92 value, is 168.02. So it does appear to have saved what we did. And that's a pretty expensive NES though. It is, but like if you know anything about getting HDMI output on an NES, it's actually cheaper than the alternatives, because otherwise you have to mod your console anyway, and you have to do an RGB mod, which probably costs you $50 to $75, and then you need a quality upscaler, which most people use like the FrameMeister or the XRGB, and they're like $350, something like that, $350 to $400 just for the upscaler to give you like nice pixel perfect upscaling on the RGB mod. So, I mean, you can do like the $500 route or the $200 route. But it's nice to have a quality upscaler. And anybody here that's wondering what the hell I'm talking about, an upscaler is something that takes like a video signal that's like a low resolution and scales it up to run on like a higher resolution display without making it look terrible. Your TV already has them built in. The first time I learned about an upscaler was when we had our Wii, like our original Wii console, and we were trying to play, I forget what game it was. I was trying to play something, and there was like input lag, right? Like you'd push a button and there was a couple milliseconds before it would actually do something on the screen. And it was because not all TVs have the same kind of upscalers in them, and some of them are really quick, like they'll process video signals like really quickly, and then other ones there's like delay because they're kind of slow. And I remember having to take like the default composite hookups from the Wii, and we had to get the special cable that gave you like the red, green, blue, red, and white cables. And hooking it up with that, there was like less input latency, which made a lot of the games like a lot easier to play. Yeah, the component. But that was the first time I had to deal with it, because it was kind of a pain in the ass. And then some consoles, for instance, like if you would buy a regular NES and hook it up with composite video, it's actually the same with all consoles, like all older ones. Like if you'd have a Sega or something, and you can hook it to your big like modern LCD TV, but there's probably lag that gets introduced into the signal because of that co-processing and upscaling that needs done. And it causes input lag, which makes some games, like if you've ever played some of the really hard to play, like Battletoads comes to mind, where you need like exceptional timing with like button presses. Punch-Out's another game that you need like very quick reaction time. It makes those games unplayable, because you have, if anybody's played like internet games in the past where you'd have like a 300 or 400 millisecond ping, like how much of a pain in the ass that is. Yeah, imagine having that while you're playing Punch-Out and you need to dodge Mike Tyson's like one-hit kill. It's not fun. But yeah, it's something a lot of people don't realize. Like, have you ever wondered why light gun games, like if you buy an original NES, you can't actually use the zapper on your LCD? And some people think it's like I've heard all kinds of reasons like why people think that's the case. Like the technology doesn't work the same, or the old CRTs, like the photons were coming out and being picked up by the gun. All it is that latency, actually, because like a CRT TV it has delay, but it has almost zero delay from like when you push a button until something actually happens on the screen because of like the photon gun and stuff in it. The gun actually requires such concise timing between the hardware in the console and your actual television that they just will not work on modern displays because there's too much latency. Or latency, if some people call it that. But that's actually why like zappers won't work on modern LCDs. They detect like light, just like anything else does. Like if you ever wonder why the screen flashes when you pull the trigger on like an old NES zapper, the screen actually goes black, and at very specific times will display like white blocks where the things you're shooting are. And if the gun picks up white, it'll register as a hit if it like correlates with that exact timing for that spot. Kind of interesting. If you ever want to have your mind blown, go watch a video or something on how CRT televisions work. Because I had to teach myself how they actually worked because I helped my dad repair arcade monitors for several years. You bought your Dell. Yeah, I'm kind of, because it's been like that was a thing in the past where the zappers didn't work, because I know shoot at the lamp, 100% hit. I'm kind of interested to see if some of the more modern like low latency displays will start to actually reach the point where they can work with the zapper. I'm kind of thinking no, just because the latency needs to be so low, so absurdly low. But it would be interesting to test if some of these like LED and LCD screens are getting fast enough where they could actually work with the light gun technology. Yeah, I don't think there is zero lag. Even even CRTs, like there's a couple milliseconds of delay, but it's only like a few. I've never actually tested it, but there's still like minuscule amounts of delay just because you actually have like electricity traveling through wires and whatnot. So there is some distance that needs crossed. But that's probably a discussion for another time since we have all the 3D printing guys in here. Zero lag displays have no built-in CPU. Yeah, I mean, the less processing on the video signal you need to do, the less latency you'll have. But at any rate, guys, as always, like, thanks for hanging out with me as usual. Thursday will be, I don't know what we're gonna do Thursday. We're gonna start doing like Tuesdays will be exclusively 3D printing stuff, except that stuff we just talked about. But Thursdays are gonna be still related to 3D printing, but it's gonna be more like the hobby / finishing / post-processing side of 3D printing. Yeah, we'll have to do like a full-on like retro console nerd time stream one of these days. I said this was Tuesday. I was supposed to stream yesterday, and I just couldn't. I was too pressed for time. So this is supposed to be a Tuesday stream. So tomorrow we're going to do some painting. We'll probably start painting up some of the dungeon tiles. We'll just do like some basic stuff on that. And yeah, like I said, we're gonna try like hobby time on Thursdays for a little bit. I know a lot of the normal crowd aren't into it, but we'll see what happens. I'm gonna stick with it for a little while. It's nice to mix things up. Because I can't take 2 days of this a week. I can't take two of these a week, I don't think. I don't have enough rum in the house. We probably won't do airbrushing, Johnny. We're going to do some like more normal stuff for people who don't have an airbrush that are looking to finish their prints and stuff. We might do some testing with some of the filler primer. Because I do have a bottle of that to mess with. I know like I had a lot of questions about that when I was looking into finishing prints and stuff to help hide layer lines. But we're going to do that tomorrow. It'll be 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And like I did mention before, I have it on my little screen there. I am on Twitch now, so if you, like, for some reason prefer Twitch as your, like, viewing platform, that is available now if you want to go over there and watch it as opposed to YouTube for some reason. So I don't have those links in my little description here, but I will add it. But the wonders of technology, if you go over to Twitch, I'm live on Twitch right now too. It's crazy. But yeah, you can see it in, I think Twitch is still a little tame. I probably don't have, I mean, I'm almost certain that I don't have my stream in the right category. I kind of ran out of time. I just threw the Twitch page up today. But over time, I'm sure the Twitch community will grow a little bit. And the chat is integrated. It'll take a second to show up, but yeah, if you watch the stream, hopefully it works. Did it work? I typed on Twitch. Maybe not. I don't know. Did it show up? Yeah, there it is. See, it works. Yeah, like I said, Aaron, there's a couple guys watching in Twitch, but they're being shy. Because it's all probably like alien to the Twitch guys. They don't know what a goofy backwards bastard I am. So did I try something like extrude 110 in pronter face? We did the pronter face thing. We ended up kind of like doing it manually. But no, like I said, multiple platforms now. So yeah, Joseph, it is one of the like caveats. It's kind of hard to like, I don't really know of another way to do it to condense the chat, because there's no way to port Twitch chat directly into YouTube chat. So I did find a way to, not that I found a way, but there is a way to get it kind of like together on the stream so people can like mingle with each other if they want to. But yeah, it's there. Like I said, it's there. And it's going to be there for a while. I mean, it really doesn't take me anything extra to stream on both platforms. So we're going to do that. And I do want to stream some gaming. And I've noticed that Jatman has dealt with that too. The YouTube 3D community is not really receptive to streaming gaming on our 3D printing channels. So Twitch is going to be kind of more of like a grab bag of like random stuff. So there probably will be times when I'm streaming on Twitch and not YouTube, but things like this I'll put on both places. Have you had to replace your PI sheet yet? No, I didn't. I was running into some problems with adhesion with it, but if you go on my channel, I forget what the video is called, but I did do a video on like how I kind of like refurbished my PEI sheet when it started to like have adhesion problems, and it works great now. So TX Flyer, what you said is exactly what happened to us, or me. I tried for the better part of 2 hours to do it through Pronterface, and it just didn't seem to want to work right. And I think we did more or less confirm that we were sending like the correct commands, but it just didn't want to work properly. So we eventually yanked the plug on that and just like manually extruded it, and it seemed to have worked okay. So, because I kind of posed that question to everyone earlier, like, is there actually a difference between telling the machine to do something one way versus like another? Like, I personally don't know why there'd be a difference, but I don't really know, so maybe there is. And you typed help extrude. It's probably in the documentation for Pronterface. Like, there probably is a way to do it. When we use the kind of manual way through the interface in Pronterface, it seemed to work, kind of. But when we're using like direct G-code commands, it didn't seem to want to work right. And which is odd, because I think the guys that were helping me do that had done that themselves with their MK2 and didn't have problems. So I don't know what the deal was. Maybe it's something I was doing. I don't know. if you want to go back and watch 4 hours of stream and try to solve that mystery, you're more than welcome to. But, all right, guys, I'm going to head out. I need to get some food and package some stuff up. So, yeah, thanks for hanging out. Check out Twitch. If there's any guys that, or any people, not just guys, if there's any people that haven't subscribed and they, for some reason, liked watching this cluster F today, consider subscribing. And then with all your YouTube channels, if you want to get alerts, you have to actually opt in with the stupid little bell thing beside the subscribe button, or you won't get alerts. So make sure you do that with all the YouTubers you want to see, otherwise you won't know what's going on. And like I said, if you want to see some more hobby end of the spectrum for 3D printing, we'll be on tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, so stop in if you want to hang out some more. I have a little bit of rum left, so it'll probably be fun. But yeah, thanks guys, and thanks to all you guys in chat that support me on Patreon. It definitely helps. I wouldn't have like different colors of filament and all that stuff to use. I did get I don't know if it was like too noticeable in stream today, but this secondary camera is not the old C920 anymore. I have another one of the C930Es, which was a lot nicer. I don't know if you guys noticed, it's a lot clearer and a lot brighter. It was a lot easier to see like detail on stuff. So yeah, it does make a difference, people that want to donate. So thanks. But I'll see you all later, and we'll be back. Feels like Tuesday to me, but we'll be back tomorrow, which is Thursday. So peace, everybody.